The Cowboys are deep into their training camp, and the energy around the team is palpable. We're roughly halfway through this grueling period where every player is fighting for a spot, trying to make an impression and showing the kind of commitment that the season demands. If there's one thing that's clear from these practices, it's that there are players rising and falling, and the dynamic of the team is constantly shifting. When you look at the quarterback position, Dak Prescott stands out as the steady hand, guiding this offense. He came into camp with some question marks about how sharp his deep ball would be, especially considering how tricky those plays can be to nail down during the early stages of practice, but Dak has been steadily proving the doubters wrong. Over the last few days, his passes have been crisp, his decision-making quicker, and he's really looking like the leader Dallas needs. What's most encouraging is that he's healthy, because when Dak is on the field and firing on all cylinders, the Cowboys' offense is a completely different beast. The defense tends to have the early edge in camp, which is typical, but lately Dak has been slicing through those defenses with accuracy and confidence, finding his targets downfield with a touch. That suggests he's locked in for a big season. Behind Prescott, Joe Milton has shown flashes that offer some hope, even if he hasn't matched the polish or command of the starter. It's not surprising that he's still finding his footing, especially since he's primarily been going up against the backup defenses rather than the first stringers. Milton's arm strength is undeniable, and his mobility adds an extra dimension, but like many young quarterbacks he's grappling with, holding onto the ball too long. That hesitation has been a thorn in his side for a while, but the overall vibe around him is cautiously optimistic. Compared to previous years, his progress seems to be moving in the right direction, which bodes well for the depth chart and for the team's quarterback room as a whole. Shifting focus to the running backs, the competition has been fierce. Early on, Javonte Williams and Miles Sanders took the bulk of the reps, displaying their ability to carry the load. Deuce Vaughn flashed some impressive bursts of speed and agility, but injuries have opened doors for others. Jaden Blue, for instance, has taken advantage of the situation, stepping into the role alongside Jontavius Williams with the first team. This is huge for the Cowboys because Blue's explosive playmaking ability adds a spark that can really elevate the offense. He's been given more opportunities as Miles Sanders and Deuce Vaughn dealt with minor injuries, and Blue has made the most of it, showing why the coaching staff is starting to trust him with bigger responsibilities. If he continues on this trajectory, he could be a key weapon for Dallas as the season unfolds. At wide receiver, the depth is impressive as always. CeeDee Lamb has been nothing short of a standout, showing why he is such a critical piece in this offense. Even without Michael Parsons out there to make plays on defense, Lamb's ability to create separation and make contested catches has been a bright spot throughout training camp. George Pickens has had some strong days, carving out moments where his speed and route running caught the eye. Then there's Cavante Turpin, a hybrid player who brings gadget-style plays to the table and has been heavily involved in practice, demonstrating his versatility. Tan Holden, who might not have made a big splash early on, has put together several solid sessions, hinting that he's ready to take the next step. Jalen Crapper has shown some sparks of potential, while Jonathan Mingo has had his moments, but still needs to push for consistency. Jalen Tolbert, on the other hand, probably needs to raise his game a bit to solidify his spot in this crowded receiver room. The offensive line has seen some shifts as well. Nathan Thomas has emerged as a beneficiary of the injuries plaguing the group, particularly with Tyler Gayton sidelined. Thomas has stepped into the left tackle spot, a critical position protecting the quarterback's blind side, and has taken advantage of this chance to prove his worth. While he's not yet perfect, Thomas's size and technique have impressed the coaching staff, and he's definitely a player to watch in the upcoming preseason games. The offensive line's ability to gel and perform will be crucial for the Cowboys' success this year, and Thomas's development could be a key piece of that puzzle. On the defensive side of the ball, players like Jay Toya and Perrion Winfrey have been making their mark. Winfrey in particular has shown more push and disruption than many expected, potentially moving ahead of other players for a roster spot. His natural talent as a penetrator and disruptor is evident, but he'll need to clean up some of the finer points of his game if he wants to secure his place. Still, the buzz around him has grown, especially after some praise from coaches that suggest he's on the right path. Another defensive player who has generated a lot of excitement is Donovan Ezeraku, a second-round rookie whose pass rushing ability has been downright unblockable at times. While it's early and expectations should be tempered, Ezeraku's disruptive presence in passing situations makes a strong case for getting meaningful snaps in the regular season. He's beating blockers across the board, not just against the backups, but also against more experienced offensive linemen, which hints at a high ceiling for this young defender. Linebacker Maurice Hurst Jr., despite some injuries in the linebacker corps, has also been doing solid work. Alongside Zimone Clark-Hurst is helping to solidify what could be a deeper and more reliable linebacker group. The addition of Matt Ioannidis should also benefit the unit, giving them versatility and toughness. It remains to be seen how much playing time Hurst will get once the season starts with players like Kenneth Murray and other contenders in the mix, but his performance in camp has been promising when it comes to the biggest training camp standout. Now, there's one name that keeps coming up: Kavontae Turpin. The former Buffalo Bill has consistently been a playmaker, showing a knack for stepping up in critical moments. His ability to break up passes and snag interceptions has turned heads and boosted his stock tremendously. If he continues this level of play, it's hard to imagine him not starting on the outside at cornerback once the season kicks off. His confidence and impact on defense have been undeniable, and fans are already buzzing about what he could bring to this Cowboys defense. With joint practices against the Rams on the horizon, it will be interesting to see how Turpin handles increased competition and whether he can maintain this hot streak. The secondary depth beyond Turpin is encouraging as well. Zion Childress has done some impressive work, especially in nickel corner and safety roles, showing versatility and football IQ that coaches love to see. Elijah Clark has been another player turning heads, receiving specific praise for his playmaking ability. The starting safeties Donovan Wilson and Jaron Kearse have also maintained steady performances despite some injury concerns around the team. Their presence brings stability to the back end of the defense, which is crucial when dealing with the kind of high-powered offenses the Cowboys face week after week. Unfortunately, injuries have cast a shadow over much of the camp. Several key players, including Trevon Diggs, Simone Rybell, Josh Butler, and others have been sidelined or limited due to lingering issues. The injury list has been one of the longest the Cowboys have faced in recent memory, with multiple starters and key backups dealing with setbacks. This has forced the coaching staff to adapt constantly and has opened the door for younger players to step up, but it also raises questions about the team's depth and durability going forward. Miles Sanders has been dealing with a bruised knee, causing him to miss time, and the hope is that he returns sooner rather than later. Deuce Vaughn has been nursing a hamstring injury, while Paris Campbell was placed on injured reserve limiting options at wide receiver. The offensive line has also been affected, with Tyler Gayton sidelined for 4 to 6 weeks due to injury. The defensive side is no better, with Rob Jones expected to miss 2 to 3 months because of a neck issue and several other players battling various ailments. One of the biggest storylines and arguably the biggest loser of this camp so far has been the ongoing saga around Micah Parsons. What was supposed to be a straightforward offseason issue has turned into an unwelcome distraction. The mishandling of his situation has frustrated fans and analysts alike, with questions lingering about how it has impacted team chemistry and preparation. The hope is that this situation gets resolved soon so the team can fully focus on football and avoid those off-field distractions that have plagued them in the past. Another player whose camp hasn't gone as smoothly as hoped is Mazi Smith. While there have been moments of promise, the weight loss experiment and changes in his conditioning have raised eyebrows. The Cowboys appear to be trying to mold him into a different kind of player, but it's unclear if this approach will pay off long term. Fans and coaches alike are waiting to see if Smith can regain his form and contribute meaningfully in the upcoming games. Finally, tight end Luke Schoonmaker has remained mostly quiet during camp. Despite some positive buzz, there hasn't been a standout moment that convinces everyone he's ready to take on a significant role. With Jake Ferguson's contract extension and Brevin Jordan's injury, the tight end room is a bit unsettled. But Schoonmaker will need to make a stronger case for himself as the preseason games approach. His impact so far has been limited, and the pressure is on for him to show more. Overall, the Cowboys training camp paints a picture of a team with promising talent, but also significant challenges to overcome, especially in terms of health and consistency. The next few weeks will be crucial for players to solidify their roles and for the coaching staff to finalize a roster that can compete at the highest level. The energy is there, the talent is evident, but football is unforgiving and the margin for error is slim. With joint practices coming up and preseason games on the horizon, this team is gearing up for a roller coaster ride that only true Cowboys fans could ever hope to be a part of. As the days roll on in Cowboys training camp, the heat isn't just from the Texas sun, it's the intensity and pressure mounting as players know that every practice rep could be the difference between making the roster or being cut. The coaching staff is watching closely, scrutinizing every detail, every mistake, every moment of brilliance. The offseason hype has settled, and now reality is setting in. The stories that began as hopeful narratives are now evolving into something far more complex. Players are adapting, growing, and sometimes stumbling under the weight of expectations. For many, this camp is the crucible where careers are tested and futures forged. One of the more intriguing subplots has been the development of the young quarterbacks behind Dak Prescott. Joe Milton has shown flashes of potential, but the real intrigue lies in what he still needs to polish to reach that next level. His arm strength is undeniable, and his athleticism gives the Cowboys a wild card, a potential weapon, if he can harness his instincts and quicken his decision-making. Yet this camp has revealed how ruthless the NFL can be for quarterbacks who hesitate. Holding onto the ball too long not only kills drives but puts you in danger of big hits, and the Cowboys defense doesn't take mercy. Milton's challenge is to translate his physical gifts into a steady, reliable game, one that can withstand the pressure of a real NFL game. As camp progresses, the battle for the backup spot intensifies, and every throw, every read is under a microscope. The coaching staff is looking for that spark, that ability to make the right decision under pressure, and right now Milton is still searching for it. Meanwhile, Dak Prescott's presence is a steadying force, not only for the offense, but for the whole locker room. His leadership is often talked about, but not always fully appreciated until you watch the practices day after day. Dak sets the tone with his work ethic, his focus, and the way he commands respect without demanding it. This is a veteran quarterback who understands the weight of his role and what it means to be the face of the franchise. Watching him operate in camp, you see the subtle adjustments he makes, the constant effort to improve even when he's clearly the best player on the field. The deep passes that once caused concern have started to look sharp again, threading through tight windows and catching receivers in stride. His timing with wideouts like CeeDee Lamb is beginning to gel, and there's an unmistakable chemistry that suggests the two are ready to take this offense to another level. Lamb, for his part, has been nothing short of spectacular. He's explosive, off the line with an ability to change direction on a dime that leaves defenders grasping at air. His catch radius seems to expand every practice, and the way he fights for every inch after the catch is a reminder of why he's one of the premier receivers in the league. Watching these two connect repeatedly is a treat for fans, a preview of the fireworks they hope to see in the regular season. The wide receiver room, however, is much deeper and more competitive than many realize. George Pickens has had his moments flashing speed and crisp route running, but consistency remains a work in progress. His ability to stretch the field complements Lamb's inside presence, but Pickens needs to prove he can be reliable week in and week out. That inconsistency has kept him on a tight leash, with coaches urging him to find more balance between aggression and precision. Cavante Turpin brings a different flavor to the group, serving as a versatile gadget player who can line up in the slot or return kicks with dangerous speed. His energy in practice is infectious, and his highlight reel plays have brought life to an offense looking for every edge it can find. Tan Holden, often flying under the radar, has surprised many with his crisp route running and ability to create separation. While he's not the flashiest, his steady improvement could earn him a spot as a reliable third or fourth option. Then there's Jalen Tolbert and Jonathan Mingo, both of whom have the talent but need to show more consistency and mental sharpness to carve out roles. The competition is fierce, and with injuries already impacting the depth chart, every player is aware that they must seize every opportunity. The running back situation is similarly dynamic. Jaden Blue has seized the moment, stepping up when injuries to Miles Sanders and Deuce Vaughn created openings. Blue's combination of speed, vision, and power has made him a favorite for coaches looking to diversify the backfield. His ability to contribute not just as a runner, but as a receiver out of the backfield adds a valuable dimension to the offense. This is the kind of versatility that makes game planning a nightmare for opposing defenses. Blue's emergence has also added a layer of healthy competition that pushes Sanders and Vaughn to raise their games. Injuries, unfortunately, are an ever-present reality in the NFL, and the Cowboys' backfield depth could be tested heavily early in the season. Having a player like Blue ready to step in seamlessly could be the difference between winning and losing close games. On the offensive line, the story is one of resilience and adaptation. The loss of Tyler Gayton to injury was a setback, but Nathan Thomas's ability to slide in at left tackle has been a pleasant surprise. Thomas has shown a mix of size, strength, and technique that has helped stabilize the line during this turbulent period. It's a massive responsibility protecting the blind side of a quarterback like Dak Prescott, and Thomas has responded well to the challenge. The offensive line is the foundation of any successful offense, and the Cowboys unit is working hard to mesh together. With a mix of veterans and younger players, chemistry will be crucial as the season progresses. The pressure on this group is enormous. Not only do they need to protect Prescott, but they must also open running lanes and hold up against some of the most fierce defensive fronts in the league. Each practice has felt like a battle, and the line's ability to come out on top has been a key factor in the offense's growing confidence. Defensively, the Cowboys have seen some young players making noise and pushing for roles. Perrion Winfrey has caught attention with his ability to penetrate the line and disrupt plays in the backfield. His motor and natural athleticism make him a player to watch, though the polish still needs to come. Coaching staff are encouraging him to refine his technique and play with more discipline, but the upside is clear. Donovan Ezeraku, a second-round pick, has been arguably the biggest surprise of camp on defense. His pass rushing skills have been jaw-dropping, at times showing that he can beat blockers with speed, power, and savvy moves. The excitement around Ezeraku is well-deserved, and if he continues on this path, he could be a cornerstone of the Cowboys' defense for years to come. Defensive line rotation will be a topic to watch once the regular season begins, as players like Winfrey and Ezeraku vie for snaps alongside veterans. The linebacker group, despite some injuries, has maintained a steady presence. Morris Hurst Jr. and Zimone Clark have been anchors in the middle, offering solid run defense and coverage ability. Matt Ioannidis' addition brings toughness and versatility, helping to plug gaps and pressure the quarterback. The linebackers will need to be in sync, communicating effectively to manage Dallas's complex defensive schemes. This unity will be vital, especially when the Cowboys face offenses loaded with talented tight ends and versatile running backs who can exploit any breakdowns. The secondary has been one of the more intriguing areas in camp. Covontai Turpin has been a revelation, showing a knack for making plays that change the momentum of games. His interceptions and pass breakups have lit up practice, and the coaching staff is excited about his potential to lock down an outside cornerback spot. The way Turpin reads the quarterback, anticipates routes, and reacts with lightning speed has made him a favorite among fans and teammates alike. Zion Childress has also been a steady performer, showing great versatility by filling in at both nickel corner and safety positions. His football IQ and physicality make him a key piece of the defensive puzzle. Alongside Donovan Wilson and Jaron Kearse, the Cowboys secondary is shaping up to be competitive even with the injury challenges the team has faced. Speaking of injuries, the Cowboys have not been immune to the brutal physical toll of training. Camp! The list of sideline players continues to grow, with some key contributors missing valuable practice time. Trevon Diggs' injury was a significant blow, as his ability to create turnovers is a vital part of the defense. Josh Butler and Simone Ribble are also out, weakening depth and forcing younger players into roles they might not yet be ready for. On offense, the loss of Paris Campbell to injured reserve has tightened the wide receiver rotation even further. Injuries to the offensive line and running backs only add to the urgency for depth players to step up.